I'm Cape Joel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly, daily, all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix of everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we're taking a closer look at Civil War II: The Oath issue number 1, a fallout epilogue to the events of Civil War II that seek to set the stage for the next big event in Marvel. What'll happen next? Let's hop on in together and find out, shall we? Now, as we dig on in, I think it's important to note that you should really read or at least get up to date on what happened in Captain America number 10, as the events of that book lead directly into this one. We got that all out of the way, then cool, we can get on with it then. So as we join the book, Captain America goes to a secret S.H.I.E.L.D. base where they are holding the comatose body of Tony Stark following his fight with Captain Marvel. This is actually really important information because we had no idea where Tony's body went to after the end of Civil War II, and it's made pretty clear that everyone on his side and everyone from his own book all assume he's dead. Now, whether you knew it or not, The Oath actually takes a hell of a lot of inspiration from an original Civil War tie-in epilogue called The Confession. In fact, the tables have been completely turned here. Now it's Captain America looking at the seemingly lifeless body of Iron Man. Another important thing to note for those of you out there who haven't heard or who haven't been reading the Captain America book right now, ever since the events of Avengers Standoff, Steve Rogers had his personal history rewritten to where now he believes himself to have been a Hydra sleeper agent all this time. Essentially what Captain America does is use this opportunity to unburden himself and more or less confess everything he's been doing so far to the comatose Tony. He also gets incredibly critical about the actual Civil War II itself, which makes me wonder if this is Nick Spencer going out of his way to take a couple pot shots at the story Bendis wrote. I mean, hey, Bendis ain't writing this epilogue, so he's basically free to do whatever he wants, right? Steve talks about how all the Marvel heroes were selfish, they squabbled with each other, and in doing so, they lost the trust of the American people. He says that Tony Stark, the futurist, wouldn't accept any future except for the one that he made for himself. He flew around in glimmering armor while everyone else lived in the dirt. Essentially, what Steve does is call Tony and everyone else in the Marvel superhero community a bunch of ivory tower elitists. Again, remember, history has been rewired by a godchild to make it seem like Steve was always a part of Hydra. Cap says that the heroes have lost touch with the everyman, that they fear their children becoming mutants, they fear an alien invasion that Captain America is actually masterminding, FYI, if you read his book. It's this fear that Captain America is able to ride to the highest position in the land. No, not the president, but I mean, it might as well be. He becomes the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the second time, actually. A S.H.I.E.L.D. that, thanks to the passing of a new bill, is now more powerful than ever before, having completely and utterly absorbed all of the American armed forces into themselves. And no one out there is any the wiser that Steve has been compromised and that he's basically the super Manchurian candidate. In fact, as we soon discover, many like Amadeus Cho and the younger generation of heroes are still very much holding grudges against the older generation of heroes for how they behaved during the Second Civil War. In fact, the only person who might even be able to stand a chance against what Hydra Cap is laying down right here is actually Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. She managed to get a very important prototype from an escaped Maria Hill that would put a shield around the entire Earth, protecting them from the alien invasion set up by Cap. What's great about this comic is how it builds. Captain America tries so hard in the beginning to keep up his composure, that everything's fine, that he's the hero everyone thinks he is. But as time goes on and he continues to talk to Tony, the veneer begins to slip away and the true Hydra madman starts to reveal himself. He says that he remembers all the good times with Tony. Yes, they were friends, they fought together, they bled together, but Steve is so loyal to his Hydra ideals that if Iron Man was right here right now, he'd put him in a coma all over again if he had to. But that's just how much Captain America is dedicated to his cause, to the Hydra future, a future that everyone in the Marvel superhero universe had actually seen during the end of Civil War II when Ulysses gave them the glimpse of Miles Morales' Spider-Man killing Cap. The problem was they were all looking in the wrong place though. Cap saw the future, and in the future, Hydra wins. America becomes one nation under Hydra. Civil War II: The Oath number 1 is another great addition to the ever-growing saga of Nick Spencer's Captain America run. That's not to say it's perfect, it's an epilogue to Civil War II that pretty much goes out of its way to talk about how silly that event was in the greater scheme of things. Instead, choosing to rejigger
hear the whole story as just one part of the bigger events of the Secret Empire, which will no doubt be coming very soon. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, at least they turned an event a lot of people didn't like into something sort of useful. I've also seen people complain that this whole issue is basically just a bunch of exposition, and it is, but when it's this sharp, this entertaining, and this edge-of-your-seat nerve-wracking, I'm willing to give it a pass. Back in 2016, I said a Hydra rewired Cap was the most interesting villain currently at Marvel. Now I'm willing to go a step further and say he might be the most interesting villain in comics right now. And that's even before I touch on all the topical political references in this book. I mean, seriously, you could probably do a whole series of videos unpacking all of that. I gotta wonder, is this the way Nick Spencer always planned for his book to go, or in light of recent events, he reworked it? We'll probably never know for sure until it's all said and done, but until then, I would give this one a 9 out of 10. This is must-read Marvel stuff right now, which you don't hear me say very often.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my newest video. I hope you enjoyed it, and while you're here, why not check out another video I have on offer, or maybe if you're feeling in a supportive mood, you want to like or subscribe. And if you want to support the creation of more videos just like this one, then please by all means check out the Kate Joel Patreon. A little bit goes a very long way, and I will see you all next time.